welcome back to episode 3 of Off the Rails. I'm once again joined by...
Lauren. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Okay, so today we're going to talk about one of my favorite musical artists ever. Okay? And I'm gonna start by just playing you a song. And after it's done, I just want your thoughts, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. I'm so excited.
He always likes to roam. My pal's name is Foot. I never find him home. I go to his house, knock at his door. People come out and say, Foot, don't live here no more. My pal Foot always likes to roam. My pal Foot.
All right. So, tell me your thoughts.
I am having so many all at once. There were 2 people singing?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not my music taste.
That's polite. You can say what you think.
That sounds like the I had a little play school drum when I was, 4 years old, and that sounds like what I would do.
Yeah. So, that's one of my favorite musical artists, my favorite bands, and that song is called My Pal Foot by experimental rock group The Shaggs. Have you ever heard of them?
I've never heard of the Shaggs.
That makes sense. They only have 29,000 listeners on Spotify.
That's on Spotify?
Oh, this is on Spotify, on Apple Music. You can find it. This was actually cited, and I don't know how they get this information because I always wonder when they ask people these questions, but allegedly this is one of Kurt Cobain's top 50 albums of all time, of his favorite. Apparently it's like number 5.
Foot.
My Pal Foot from the album Philosophy of the World.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. So let me tell you about the Shaggs.
Foot.
And there will be more songs, do not worry.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So, all right. Let me just read you the beginning of the Wikipedia page just to give you a sense. So the Shaggs were an all-American, were an American all-female rock and outsider music band formed in Fremont, New Hampshire in 1968.
Outsider?
Outsider. So that is sort of like, it's experimental or abstract music. So it doesn't follow regular conventions of music, as you heard, but it's also notable because it's often done by people who are self-taught or naive. It often has sort of a lo-fi or like not super well produced quality to it. As you heard, they're definitely like not well-versed musicians. And so it's just sort of a loose version of music. Just kind of vibes.
Yes.
All right, so the band is composed of sisters Dorothy Wiggin on vocals, lead guitar, Betty Wiggin on vocals and rhythm guitar, Helen Wiggin on drums, fantastic percussionist as you heard,
Yes.
and later Rachel Wiggins on bass. All right, and they're occasionally joined by their brother Austin Jr. and nephew Robert. But it's important. It's the sisters that form this band. All right, and so before I get into their story more fully, I think I should play for you the title track, Philosophy of the World.
Yes.
I think that'll give you a good impression of their ethos as a band.
Okay.
Pay particular attention to the lyrics.
Okay.
Oh, the rich people want what the poor people got, and the poor people want what the rich people got. what the tall people got. And the tall people want what the short people got. The little kids want what the big kids got. And the big kids want what the little kids got. You can never please anybody in this world. Oh, the girls with short hair want long.
Again, your thoughts.
I was trying to pay special attention to the lyrics, but I couldn't really make any of them out. I've done classical voice training for a big chunk of my life. And I'm very interested in like vocal lines of music and trying to understand them and trying to see like, oh, what are you doing? Like, how are you moving around in the music? And man,
This is certainly an example of what one can do with the voice.
this is an example, and I've never heard anything like it.
No, it's unique. So let me give you a taste of the lyrics.
Yes, please.
So as you heard, you can never please anybody in this world.
Any bahadi.
Yes, it's it's important that you know that.
Yes.
So if we go back a little bit, they talk about, they're like, the short people want what the tall people have. The little kids want what the big kids have. The fat people want what the skinny people have. It's very simple. You know, everybody wants what somebody else has. The grass is always greener on the other side. Now, could they have said it better? Yes.
Yes.
But you know what?
What is art?
What is art? Now, you've heard the lyrics. Tell me what your thoughts are on the instrumental.
Oh man. I'm having so many thoughts, but none of them make sense.
Dissonance?
Dissonance, yes. A very, dare I say, expert use of dissonance.
There seems to be no consistent rhythm
No.
or tone.
No.
The percussion is chugging along.
Chugging along, speeding up, slowing down.
Doesn't seem to really be in conversation with the guitar.
No.
One of my favorite little things, and I've listened to this album many times, and one of my favorite little things is the fact that I have the personal headcanon, and I don't know that this is true, but I like to believe that when they recorded this, they didn't understand, recording technique very well, and so they tried to record things all at once. So like they did the guitar and the vocals at once, because whenever they start singing, the guitar parts go to hell. They start off with chords, but then the moment they sing, they either are playing the same vocal melody or are just playing notes for the sake of it. I also believe firmly that the drummer is always in another room and never gets to hear any of the songs clearly. She just has a pair of headphones and she gets a distorted version of what might be happening down the hall. So they sort of just leave her to her own devices. I imagine they record her parts first or something and she just doesn't get to hear the result.
Yes.
She just, yeah.
It sounds like to me like a bunch of aliens
Yes.
found like a video of people performing, no audio to it, and they watched the video and they studied the video and then they did their best to replicate it.
Yes, that is essentially what happened. I will get into their story.
Oh man.
I also want to just point out that they're from New Hampshire, but they sound like little German girls.
They do, yes. The way that they're forming their vowels, they really do have an accent.
It's all right. So, let me just get into the story. And you can find this on Wikipedia. You can find this everywhere. There's a lot when you really look into it about these women. So, basically, the band formed in 1968 when their father, Austin Wiggin, who, just as a warning, is not a good man.
Okay.
Just don't like him. We won't get into it, but he is not good. But his mother, when her son was young, his mother had predicted during a palm reading that he would marry a strawberry blonde woman, that he would have 2 daughters after she died, and that his daughters would form a popular music group. She also claims to have had a vision from God that her grandchildren would be famous musicians. Okay?
Okay.
And so, basically, the first 2 predictions proved accurate. He married a strawberry blonde woman, and he had at least 2 daughters. He actually had 4, but he had 2 daughters. So he's decided, I might as well make the 3rd one come true. So he pulled his daughters out of school, bought them instruments, and forced them to receive music and vocal lessons. Now, the Wiggins sisters never planned to become a musical group. They did not want this. It's very clear when you listen to their stuff that they were just thrust into this. They were given instruments, they were given maybe probably like 5 lessons, and then go record.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So we're listening to people kind of being abused, essentially, and being forced into this path. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes, he like bought up the studio time. He forced them to write this. It was this whole thing. It's the fact that he pulled them out of school that I'm always just floored by.
Yeah, he took away any opportunity that wasn't what he wanted for
them. Yeah, and so they never really wanted to be a musical group, but as Dot later said, Austin, their dad, was something of a disciplinarian. He was stubborn, he could be temperamental, he directed, we obeyed, or did our best. So, not a pleasant man.
No.
Austin named the Shaggs after the popular shag hairstyle, and as a reference to shaggy dogs. First of all, that's just a sucky name.
That's so not creative.
And, like, why after dogs?
Mm-hmm.
That's not... Oh, hey, let's go see the Shaggs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of a rug. Like, I'm not thinking of, a hairstyle.
It's that's not enticing. Now, I mean, we're not in the 60s, but even
fair.
then, I would not be enticed.
No.
In 1968, he arranged for the girls to play regular Saturday night gigs at the Fremont, New Hampshire Town Hall. And upon their first several gigs, people threw cans at them. Like, they were bad. Because I'm imagining if this is recorded, there were probably a couple tries. Live, I wonder what it sounded like. Mm-hmm. So, they only recorded one album, and it was Philosophy of the World. There are 12 tracks. And I love them all dearly. What's interesting is that this album has kind of gained like a cult-like following of people who are like, it's so bad, it's good. Mm-hmm. People are quoted saying, there's an innocence to these songs and the performance that's both charming and unsettling. Hacked-at drum beats, whacked-around chords, and songs that seem to have little or no meter to them, being played on out-of-tune, pawn-shop-quality guitars, all converge, creating dissonance and beauty, chaos and tranquility, causing any listener coming to this music to rearrange any pre-existing notions about the relationship between talent, originality, and ability. There is no album you might own that sounds remotely like this one.
I agree with the last sentence, but I find because they were all forced into this, it doesn't make me feel like tranquil to listen to. If anything, knowing that fact, it makes my like skin crawl a little bit. Just to, like, I'm just imagining it. And
I will say the daughters who are still alive are doing much better now.
Good.
Good for them. Austin is very dead. So great.
It's not my place to say good to that, so we're gonna keep going.
Yes. So. Oh yes, and so in a 2017 interview of their work in the New Yorker. While Dot and Betty had written out their songs and had musical chemistry, those are the guitarists, Helen, the drummer, was often completely detached from what her sisters were playing. So my headcanon proves true. She was not involved. And if you listen to the drums, that's very clear. And so, unfortunately, Austin's dreams of superstardom were dashed.
Sorry, buddy, you should learn how to play an instrument then. You want to be a star so bad?
The man who promised to press 1,000 copies of the album absconded with 900 of them, as well as the money paid to him. The rest were circulated to New England radio stations, but attracted little attention. The band members themselves were appalled at how horrible the record sounded. Years later, when it became popular, they were bewildered. And I will now use this brief interlude to play you one of my personal favorite songs called It's Halloween. Brace yourselves.
Oh, it sure is.
It's Halloween, it's Halloween, it's time for scares, it's time for screams. It's Halloween, it's Halloween. The ghosts will spook, the spooks will scare. Why, even Dracula will be there. It's time for games, it's time for fun, not for just one, but for everyone. The jack-o'-lanterns are all lit up. All the dummies are made and stuff. By just looking you will see it's this time of year again. It's Halloween, it's Halloween. All the kids are happy and gay.
Okay.
Is that a saxophone?
No! It sounds like it. It's the guitar. It's so boring.
I didn't know they could make that noise.
I know.
Wow.
I will say, the drummer, she kept it together.
Yeah, that's camp.
It's camp.
That's camp. I like It's Halloween so far. That's my favorite one.
Yes.
'Cause I think
That one highlights everything that I love about it. The fact that the drummer is playing a beat. It's gotten more consistent. Like, this one was definitely recorded last, I feel like. It makes sense whatever she's doing. It just doesn't make sense with whatever the guitars are doing.
Yes.
And once again, the guitar intro was good. They had chords. The moment they start singing, they lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love the sort of free rhythm, free verse,
Mm-hmm.
stream of consciousness. It almost feels like you're going up and down hills. Da 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 da. That's just a melody.
It feels like I'm like a little kid and it's Halloween and I'm just excited. That one is the best one that I've heard so far.
The best one. That was hard for you to say.
It does still just make me a little, like, uncomfortable to listen to. It's how the lengths that people go to please others, and just trying so hard to make someone proud.
Yeah, it is disheartening to know the history.
Yes, it is.
The vision from God part and the palm reading do make me chuckle, though.
Yes.
Because, I mean, like, sure, of course.
I mean, I check my co-star every day. I can't say anything.
But do you let co-star... Would you let the stars make this kind of decision?
No, but
Quit school, become a musician?
That's true. I do pull a lot of oracle cards when I'm doing homework, actually, and if it says this isn't going to happen, then I'm said, well, okay, this isn't going to happen right now, and I give myself a break. But I don't do big decisions off of the cards, but I look at them.
Yeah.
I do love it. If they're negative, I simply do not perceive them.
See, I think... Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
So, essentially, this sort of thing got lost to time. But then, of course, in the 70s, it came back into the public eye from the sort of, like, zany radio show host Dr. Demento. Brought them back. My mom has told me about him, and it was the kind of thing where he would, like, pick up obscure and weird, like, songs. Yeah, that he had Frank Zappa on and have him play some of his favorite songs, and Frank Zappa played a couple of Shaggs songs and professed his love for them. And there's apparently a legend that Frank Zappa called the Shaggs better than the Beatles. Though people think this originated from a rock critic called Lester Bangs, who wrote about philosophy of the world, so it's debated. I think people like to think that Frank Zappa would say such a thing, that they're better than the Beatles. I mean, if you go in the camp direction...
Yeah.
You could say anything, really.
Yeah.
What is art?
Irony is so layered. There are so many layers.
So, of course, nowadays, original pressings of the world are quite valuable. Of philosophy of the world are quite valuable, highly sought after, really rare records. RCA has reissued the album on CD in the 90s. A lot of people have, like, reissued it with, like, liner notes with, like, details about, like, all this stuff about them. They played a 30th anniversary show in the Bowery Ballroom in 1999, and all this stuff, and it's just, sort of has this great place in the rock world of, like, here's this little obscure, wonderful little album. So, as we close it out here, I'm going to play you one last song, and then I want your closing thoughts. Mm-hmm. And actually, I will let you choose the song. I'll give you some options. Would you like to hear Who Are Parents, That Little Sports Car, or Things I Wonder, or actually, Why Do I Feel?
Oh, I'm going to have to go with Why Do I Feel?
Why Do I Feel?
Why do I feel?
It has 69,000 streams on Spotify. I just feel you should know.
Sometimes I feel funny and bothered up inside. Then for some reason I just got to cry. Sometimes I feel happy and overflowing with joy. Then things change and I start to worry. Why do I feel the way I feel? Why
All right.
Okay.
So I pulled up the lyrics because I feel we're gonna need them. But how do we feel about that?
Okay. I kind of get this one. This is what I feel like sometimes. This is a very specific feeling that I've never had communicated back to me, but I get this one.
So I loved your face when the music shifted from calming little bee to
That's what this is
This
is what my brain sounds like. This is what my therapist hears on a weekly basis.
God. So the lyrics. Sometimes I feel funny and bottled up inside.
Mm-hmm.
Then for some reason I just start to cry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel happy and overflowing with joy. And then things change and I start to worry. Why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I feel the way I feel? Sometimes I worry over nothing at all. Sometimes I think life's just a ball. When life changes and turns the other way, I try to think of something gay.
Preach.
Preach, exactly. It's the happy gay, but still.
Still.
Why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I feel the way I feel? And then some closing lines. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a lot of lyrics. No, there's not. There are times when I feel sad. There are times when I feel blue. What makes me feel this way the most is when I don't know why I do the things I do. And then the chorus returns again, and then she says, there are times when I feel sad, there are times when I feel blue. And yeah, and it just ends with, why do I do the things I do?
I get this one. I like this one.
You like this one.
I like it in the sense that I think that there's a very, like, there's a deeper meaning to the sound of it. And it feels like poetry that I wrote when I was, like, 11 and edgy and really thought I was doing something.
It has that quality of, like, trying to articulate a feeling that is just too big.
Yeah.
And you just get this sense of, like, why?
Yeah.
I still think the lyrics and the sort of sense of the song is just sort of shallow.
Fair.
Because they're kind of all like that.
Yes. No, I think this is good in a camp way, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think that this explores a theme of, I don't understand what's happening, but I'm here and I'm trying my damn best, which I think also kind of mirrors what you've told me about the story of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
These poor... I
poor...
wonder if they all were, like, forced to have a shag haircut.
Well,
like,
I mean, would you like to see a picture of them?
Yes, I mean the 60s. They probably all...
Here's the album cover.
Oh.
It has a certain...
I suggest any listener goes and Googles it. And
I will make sure there's an image for the listeners.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a very niche movie reference of that thing you do in the Mercyhurst talent show. No one's going to know what this means. But the women who sing look like this.
Oh, okay.
And I can't help but just think about that. Wow. And the font that they use is like old English.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything about this in terms of choice, in art direction, in musicality.
They made a choice.
I am full of questions and also wonder.
I wish I could make bold choices like this.
Yes.
I wonder what my art would be if I could make bold choices like this.
Mm-hmm. I would like to close it out on a bit of a whimsical note by reading you the lyrics to the song I showed you first called My Pal Foot.
Oh, yes, please do.
It is dedicated to the song's Lost Cat. Okay?
Oh,
Foot. The band's Lost Cat. My pal's name is Foot, because there's little quotes. He always likes to roam. My pal's name is Foot. I never find him home. I go to his house, knock at his door. People come out and say, Foot, don't live here no more. And yes, I did sing it for you. My sister and I sing the song in the car all the time. This album is a family road trip album. We listen to it every time we drive to Ohio. It's what gets me through upstate New York. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. If you had to give this a rating out of 10.
Oh, man. Out of 10? Mm-hmm. Can I have, like, a standard or a metric as to what I'm rating out of 10? Just in general.
Okay.
I gotta give it, like, a 3 then. And that feels mean because they were forced into this, and now I'm saying their art sucks.
I think they'd understand.
I
They also don't like it.
okay.
I think
That
they've
makes me feel better.
over the years come to terms with the weird cult status it has. But like we all know, even though it's camp, it is bad.
It is bad. It is unlike anything else, and maybe there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah. So thank you for joining me on this episode of Off the Rails.
Thank you, Maddie.
You're so welcome.
I'm off. My brain's off the rails.
Are you gonna go listen to this?
I'm gonna be thinking about this for a while. I'm going to send it to everyone I know.
Oh, that's the thing I like to hear. All right. Thank you for joining me.
Foot, I wish I could find you. I've looked here, I've looked there, I've looked everywhere. Oh, foot, why can't I find you?